What if your dog has been trying to tell you something for months, and you keep missing it? Not because you're a bad owner, not because you don't love your dog, but because the signs look nothing like what you'd expect. In fact, most of the signs, your dog doesn't trust you, look almost identical to signs of a happy, normal dog. And that's exactly what makes this so dangerous. So before you skip this video, ask yourself one question. When was the last time your dog truly, deeply relaxed around you? Not just calm, not just quiet, but genuinely, completely at ease. If you had to think about that for more than a second, keep watching, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you see your relationship with your dog. Let's start with something most people never think about. Trust, in the dog world, is not the same as love. Your dog can love you and still not trust you. That might sound strange, but think about it this way. You can love someone deeply and still feel like you have to walk on eggshells around them. You can love someone and still brace yourself when they enter the room. Dogs experience something very similar. And because they love us so unconditionally, so completely, they often stay loyal and affectionate even when something underneath is broken. That loyalty actually masks the problem. It hides it from us, and we keep missing it because we're looking for the wrong things. We think a dog that doesn't trust us would growl or hide or refuse to come near us. But that's not usually how it shows up. The real signs are quieter, subtler, and they're happening right in front of you, possibly every single day. Let's walk through them one by one. And I want you to really think about your dog as we go through each one. The first sign is something almost every dog owner has seen, but never questioned. Your dog follows you everywhere, from the bedroom to the bathroom to the kitchen. Every room you enter, they're right behind you. And your first thought is, "Oh, they love me so much." And maybe that's true. But here's what nobody tells you. There's a very specific kind of following behavior that isn't about love at all. It's about anxiety. In dog psychology, we call it hyperattachment, and it looks almost identical to affection on the surface. A dog who truly trusts you can be in one room while you're in another and feel completely safe. They don't need to track your every move, because they trust that you'll come back. They trust that the world is okay even when you're not right next to them. But a dog operating from a place of low trust, low security, they can't afford to let you out of their sight. Because in their mind, something might go wrong. You might disappear. The environment might become unsafe. And they have no confidence that they can handle it without you. So they follow, obsessively, endlessly. And we interpret it as devotion. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's a dog silently screaming that they don't feel safe. Watch for the difference. A loving follower is relaxed, tail in a neutral position, just happy to be near you. An anxious follower is tense, watching your face, watching your hands, reading your every micro movement for a clue about what's coming next. The second sign goes even deeper, and I want you to think carefully about this one. Does your dog ever yawn when you're not tired, not after waking up, not in the evening before bed, but in the middle of a training session, or when you're leaning down to pet them, or when you raise your voice even slightly? Dogs use yawning as what's called a calming signal. It was first studied deeply by Norwegian dog trainer Turid Rugaas, and what she discovered changed the way we understand dog communication forever. When your dog yawns in these moments, they're not bored, they're not sleepy, they're trying to diffuse tension. They're trying to tell you and themselves that everything is okay, please don't escalate, I'm not a threat, we're okay, right? It's their version of taking a deep breath. And the reason this matters so much is because a dog who truly feels safe and trusted doesn't need to constantly diffuse tension. They're not on alert. They're not managing the emotional temperature of the room. If your dog yawns frequently during interactions with you, during training, during moments when you're physically close or slightly frustrated, that's a window into how they're experiencing your presence, not as a safe place, as something to navigate carefully. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. Sign number 3, and this is the one most owners completely miss. Are you ready? It's eye contact, or rather, the way your dog avoids it. See, we've been told that dogs who love us make eye contact, and that's true. But there's a layer underneath that most people never see. Dogs actually have 2 very distinct ways of avoiding eye contact, and they mean completely different things. The first is a respectful look away. This is normal, healthy dog behavior. Dogs naturally avert their eyes as a form of politeness and social respect. It's the same reason a well-socialized dog won't stare down another dog. It's communication. It's good. But the second kind of eye contact avoidance is something else entirely. It's when your dog won't meet your eyes at all. When you try to make eye contact and they look away quickly, drop their head, or physically move. When you call their name and they hear you, you can see they heard you, but they don't look at you. That is a stress response, and it tells you something critical about how your dog sees you in that moment. In dog psychology, prolonged direct eye contact is associated with challenge and dominance. A dog who feels uncomfortable around you will avoid eye contact, not out of politeness, but out of appeasement. They're trying not to trigger something. They're being careful. And the heartbreaking part is that many owners respond to this by forcing eye contact, holding the dog's face, repeating their name louder, which to the dog feels like exactly the kind of pressure they were trying to avoid. What most dog owners don't realize is that their dog is giving them incredibly clear communication in these moments, and the owner's instinctive response often makes things worse, not because they're cruel, because they don't know, and that gap in understanding is what this video is really about. Let's move to sign number 4, and this one might make you a little uncomfortable. Does your dog ever freeze when you touch them? Not every time. Maybe just occasionally. Maybe when you reach over their head to pet them, or when you approach them while they're eating, or when you move quickly near them. That freezing, even for half a second, is one of the most significant things a dog can show you. In dog behavior science, a freeze response is what happens when a living creature's nervous system perceives a potential threat and hasn't yet decided whether to fight or flee. It's the moment before a decision. It's the body saying, "Wait, I need to assess this. Now I want to be very clear. A freeze doesn't mean your dog thinks you're going to hurt them. It doesn't mean you've done something terrible. What it means is that in that specific moment, your dog experienced a micro moment of uncertainty, of not knowing what was about to happen. And that uncertainty lives in the body as a physical pause. For a dog who deeply trusts you, your approach, your touch, your presence should never produce that uncertainty. It should always be known, always be safe, always be comfortable. When a dog freezes around their owner, it usually means one of 2 things. Either there's a specific context, a particular type of touch or approach that has been paired with something uncomfortable in the past, or the dog's overall baseline level of trust in the owner is lower than it should be. Both are fixable, but only if you know to look for the freeze in the first place. Sign number 5. And this one is sneaky because it hides inside behavior we actually celebrate. Your dog performs perfectly during training, does everything right. But the second the treat bag disappears or the training session ends, they disengage. Completely. They walk away. They stop responding to their name. It's like a switch flips. And most owners think, well, they're just not motivated without food. But that's not the real reason. What you're seeing is a dog who has learned that training is a specific transactional context. You produce food, I produce behavior. The end. There's no relationship component in the middle. A dog who truly trusts their owner responds to them because they want to engage, not just because there's a reward. They check in during walks without being called. They respond to a soft word even when there's no treat in sight. They orient toward you because you are interesting and safe and worth paying attention to. When training only works with food present, it's often a sign that the dog has learned the mechanics of the game but hasn't built genuine connection with the person running it. The trust isn't there. The relationship isn't there. and food has been filling that gap without anyone realizing it. This is incredibly common, and it's one of the reasons dogs who seem perfectly trained at home fall apart in new environments or high distraction situations. They were never working with you. They were working for the cookie, and when the cookie isn't enough to override the distraction, you have nothing left. Sign number 6. Your dog doesn't seek comfort from you when they're scared. Think about that for a moment. When thunder rolls in, when fireworks go off, when something startles them, where does your dog go? Do they come to you, or do they go somewhere else? Under the bed, into a corner, to a different room. A dog who trusts you has learned, through experience, that you are a source of safety, that when the world is overwhelming, you are the right place to go. Your presence physically calms them. This is actually measurable. Research has shown that a secure bond with a human caregiver causes a dog's stress hormones to drop. Their breathing slows. Their body relaxes. Because that bond is real, physiological, and powerful. But for a dog who hasn't built that level of trust with their owner, this doesn't happen. You don't register as safe. You might be familiar. You might even be loved. But in a moment of genuine fear, the instinct doesn't send them to you. It sends them somewhere else, somewhere they've found comfort independently. And here's the part that's really hard to hear. Sometimes dogs learn not to seek comfort from their owners because previous attempts were dismissed, because they came to you scared and you said, "Stop it, you're fine," because you pushed them away during a thunderstorm because you were busy. Because your own anxiety during those moments communicated to them that you weren't a stable presence. Dogs are exquisitely sensitive to our emotional state. If you're anxious, they know. If you're dismissive, they feel it. And over time, they learn where to go and where not to go when things get hard. And now we reach sign number 7. The final one, the one that pulls everything else together. And I have to warn you, this one might change the way you see every interaction you've ever had with your dog. The 7th sign your dog doesn't fully trust you is that they don't fully rest around you. Not real rest, not deep rest. You see, a dog's ability to relax completely in your presence is one of the purest measures of trust that exists. When a dog lies down, exposes their belly, sighs deeply, their eyes going soft or closing completely, they are in a profoundly vulnerable state, and they will only go there if they feel genuinely safe. Many dogs will lie down near their owners. Many dogs will sleep in the same room. But what you want to look for is the quality of that rest. Are their muscles soft? Is their breathing slow and even? Does their body look heavy and relaxed, like they've genuinely let go? Or are they lying down but still tracking you with their eyes? Still with their head up, watching the room? Still with a slight tension in their jaw or their shoulders? A dog that is lying down but not truly resting is performing rest. They're managing, they're present, but they haven't actually let go, because letting go requires trust. And if that trust isn't there, the body won't release. It will stay ready, just in case. What most dog owners don't realize is that they can change this. All of it. Every single sign I've described today is a signal, not a sentence. Your dog isn't broken. Your relationship isn't ruined. These signs are your dog's way of showing you where the gaps are, where the work needs to happen. And the work itself is simpler than you might think, though it takes something most training programs never talk about. Consistency, not consistent. Commands, not consistent schedules. Consistent emotional presence. Dogs build trust the same way humans do, through repeated experiences of feeling safe, feeling heard, and feeling like the other person can be counted on. Every time you read your dog's stress signals and give them space instead of pushing through. Every time you end a training session before your dog hits their limit. Every time you sit quietly with your dog without needing them to perform or respond. Every time you let them approach you instead of always approaching them. You are making a deposit. A tiny investment in something that compounds slowly but powerfully. And one day you'll notice that your dog doesn't follow you out of anxiety anymore. They follow you because they actually want to be near you. You'll notice they seek your eyes during walks. They check in. They lean against you during a storm. They sigh deeply, and their whole body goes soft when you sit down beside them. And you'll realize that you didn't just train a dog. You built a relationship, a real one. The kind that changes both of you. If anything in this video felt familiar, if you recognized your dog in any of these signs, don't feel guilty. Feel curious. Guilt closes you down. Curiosity opens you up. And your dog needs you open. They need you present and willing to learn. That's why they've been trying to tell you all along. They were never being difficult. They were just waiting for you to understand the language. If you want to understand that language even more deeply, there's a lot more on this channel about dog psychology, trust building, and how to create the kind of bond that most people never even know is possible. Subscribe so you don't miss any of it. And if you have a friend who has a dog that might be showing some of these signs, send them this video. You might just change the way they see their best friend forever.